So I think, and obviously this is just my opinion, Fallout 4 just got its best weapon mod. Full stop. Put a period at the end of that sentence. There's no other conditions added on, nothing that I'm leaving out, just simply the best weapon mod that you could download right now for Fallout 4. And to make things even better, it's available on Xbox One. But before we actually do that, let's take a look at my merch. No, I'm just kidding. Let's look at the mod. So the mod in question is the SIG Sauer MPX. This is actually something that's been a work in progress for a fairly long time. I've showed you it on my upcoming mod series for a few months now. And let me level with all of you. When I was actually looking at this on the mod page and even some of the screenshots, I thought it'd just be your run-of-the-mill new weapon mod. Probably kind of cool, but I honestly didn't have super high hopes for it. Even after downloading it, I was like, all right, yeah, it's whatever. Well, after actually using it in game, I was very, very wrong. So right off the bat, the SIG Sauer MPX comes with a ton of different attachments, whether it be barrels, scopes, sights, or even just fundamentally changing the length of this thing so it could fit different playstyles. You can do all of that in addition to changing the caliber type and apply different textures to it. I would say one of the premier features of this is actually the animations. The animations are going to vary depending on which type of magazine type you're using and which kind of foregrip you actually have attached. So if you do have a proper foregrip attached to this, you're going to be able to tell. As you sway around with it in your hands, it's going to look quite distinctively different as to when you don't have anything. Those animations coupled with the textures just make it so when you're actually like running around and using this in first person, it looks so freaking good. Like this is number one for me. There's nothing in Fallout 4 right now that I think actually tops this. And even beyond all of that, there's actually a few extra kind of features added in. There's different animations you can choose from, different sounds you can choose from, and some of the attachments are just a little bit more out there. They're not what you're used to seeing on all those other weapon mods. This comes together to make this a complete package. It's a ton of fun to use in game, and it pretty much can be customized into literally whatever you want it. Do you want this to effectively work as a sniper rifle in Fallout 4? You got it. Do you want a PDW working at medium to long ranges or just an SMG with a massive magazine size? All of those things are totally available. If you haven't downloaded the SIG Sauer MPX just yet, why? You can honestly click off this video after this mod because nothing I'm going to show you after this is actually going to top it. But for those of you who actually did choose to stick around, we do have another particularly cool mod. This one's going to be Cross Blades. This is a new weapon pack from Niero, adding in 4 new and very interesting types of weapon mods into Fallout 4. So right off the bat, full disclosure, I don't really use melee weapons in Fallout games. I've never been a fan of that playstyle. I know some people only use melee weapons, some people just do it for certain playthroughs, but I'm definitely the type that avoids them at all costs. Well, this mod might actually just get me to change that. So what does this actually add in? Well, first you do have the Plasma Katana, basically being Genji's sword from Overwatch. All of these have a variety of customization options, ranging from textures, but even beyond that, you could actually change the blade on a lot of these. Like on this one, depending on which tier you actually do select, it'll be kind of more plasma-ized and get those special effects on it. Then you do have the BER2, which is basically going to be a laser rifle turned into a sword. This is definitely my favorite out of the bunch. I think it has the coolest sound effects. I think it looks the coolest, taking that laser rifle that we know and love and turning it into something totally different, but still feels extremely Fallout. And even beyond that, it's actually integrated into the level list of certain gunners, at least that's who I encountered it on. And Niero even gave this one its own little lore, describing it as originally being developed as a hedge trimmer, but then a few accidents later, it got military use. Then we do have the Crucible Sword. This one's actually going to be from Doom Eternal, and I think it was in some of the older Doom games. It's definitely cool. You could choose it to be either a one-handed or two-handed weapon, and it has some really cool SFX going on as you use this, but it really just wasn't for me. If you use power armor more, it would probably look a bit cooler, but all in all, it was definitely the weakest out of the bunch, at least in my eyes. Even though it kind of looked the coolest, it definitely had a distinctive appearance. Then we do have the Plasma Throwing Knives. So these guys actually have a dual usage. After crafting them, you'll probably find them in their charged state, so when you throw them at an enemy, it's almost like a plasma grenade or a mini plasma grenade blowing up in their face. But after throwing these guys and getting that explosion, you actually can pick them up to find them in a discharge state. Here, they'll actually work as typical throwing knives if you want to go that route. Or alternatively, you could actually take them back to a chemistry station and turn them back into those plasma charged versions. All in all, I personally think this is a great addition to the game. Even if you're like me and don't particularly like weapon mods, maybe having the throwing knives as a grenade option, or even just encountering enemies using the BER2 is a lot of fun, and for that alone, I think worth the download. Alright, so those were two pretty massive mods. Maybe we should take a step back, something a little bit easier. Next we do have Simply Water. What it's going to do is change the way water looks in Fallout 4. Do you like these changes? Do you like the after side of these before and afters? Well, if you do, you should probably download this mod. If for some reason the imagery wasn't enough for you, you could have my opinion also. I'm actually very experienced with water. Every day when I drive to school, I do pass a pretty major river. And the one thing I would say about Simply Water is the water in Simply Water looks like that river. It definitely is very realistic looking. If you want some clean, nice water to jump in, don't download this mod. If you want some morbid reality in Fallout 4, download this mod. It definitely is accurate. Then we do have the legendary Pepperbox. I feel like there's an innuendo to be made there, but I'm just not smart enough to think of it. So this is definitely going to be the guilty pleasure of this list. Objectively, this isn't the best weapon mod for Fallout 4. The animations aren't custom, and even beyond that don't actually line up correctly. And you can't even edit this thing at a weapon workbench, so why is it even on here? Well, the reason it's on here is because it has 18 shots, and you can shoot it very quickly at people from close up. Like, yeah, again, on paper, this really isn't a super great mod, but in-game, actually using it and actually just kind of dumping your load into somebody really quick is a blast, and it's an experience I think you guys should also experience, hence me putting it in this video. And actually this mod came with a little bit of a bonus. We got some teases at some future mods coming from Gage Storm, this mod author. This MT40 looks considerably more polished, and it's probably going to have custom animations even if it doesn't just yet. So if for some reason you don't like the Pepperbox, and to be clear, something is probably wrong with you if you feel that way, you can always hold out for the eventual release of the MT40. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. As always, again, I thank you guys for watching, but I actually have just a general life fun fact today. Well, actually not general. If you're a student, this will apply to you. I'm more specifically if you're a college student that uses Microsoft Word to take notes, which is probably most of you. So I'm not like sponsored by Microsoft or anything like that, but start using OneNote. You probably have it included in your student plan or however you're paying for Word unless you pirate it, but do people still do that? Isn't it like 10 bucks a month now? Either way, if you're using Word to take notes in class, try out OneNote. I know at first it seems really weird, and I actually only started using it like 7 months ago, but it has really changed my life. No more crashing in Word or getting weird glitches in Word. OneNote is just the superior platform for taking notes in class. You can very quickly switch between old documents, so if your teacher's like, oh, do you remember last time when I mentioned this? You could be the guy that has that answer because you just kind of click one back. And even beyond that, there's just like no saving on the platform. It just is consistently syncing itself, so if it crashes, you're not going to lose a ton of work you just did, which I definitely experience with Word. So yeah, again, not sponsored or anything. And I know most people use Word, but I personally switched recently, and I think more people should. And I think more people would if they actually downloaded and tried OneNote. Either way, it's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. As always, again, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.
Hold on. Ash, I need your help.